Good afternoon, Aggies. We got some good news for you this afternoon. Tamon Cook is the National FCS Special Teams Player of the Week this week. Congratulations to him. He also secured CAA Special Teams Player of the Week as well. We got BJ Turner, who leads the nation in solo tackles. And let me try that again. Mr. Cole also leads the conference in interceptions, so congratulations to him as well. Our special guest with us today, Caleb Brickhouse. He is from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. He played at Northeastern High School, and he is a business administration major. We also have with us defensive tackle Henry Daniel. He's from Creedmoor, North Carolina. He went to South Granville High School, and he's an information technology major. But before all of that, we're going to bring up our head coach, Mr. Vincent Brown.
It is a great day in Aggieland. Why wouldn't it be? Beautiful day, and we are so blessed to have such loyal and diehard supporters. And understand that we really do appreciate you. Following our game on Saturday, I had one supporter to run up to me as we're walking into the locker room. And he says, "Coach, keep fighting. We got your back. Keep the kids fighting. We've got your back." And that meant the world to me and for our kids, because we're not results oriented, we're process oriented. And we're focused on developing the processes that will allow us to do the things that we need to be able to do to be successful in the classroom, in the community, and on the field. Our kids are doing a tremendous job in the classroom. We have our guys being out doing community service every week, going over to Washington Montessori School, spending time with the young kids in the community. And there are actually positives to build on from Saturday's game. Now, with that being said, anytime you turn the ball over 4 times, you're probably not going to win the football game. And so we look at why those things happen. We stress all the time offensively, ball security, protect the football. We actually talk about what's the most important thing in football. It is the ball, protecting the football. And we were too reckless with the ball on Saturday. Hard to win that way. On the other side, I was very proud of the way our defense has really started to step up to give us a chance. And we always go into the game thinking, how do we need to play this game to have a chance to win it at the end? If you look at how Richmond had been scoring points offensively, explosive play passes. Their receiver, number 11, was the second leading receiver and the most targeted receiver in the CAA. He had 7 receptions for 47 yards in our game. We did not allow them to throw the ball over our heads. We made them earn everything. We gave up 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. And so felt really proud about the way our defense performed. Do we have a ways to go offensively? Absolutely. We're nowhere close to where we need to be. But as I shared with the staff, I said, if you look at our schedule, no one in the conference has played a tougher slate of conference games than we have. We played the top 4 teams in the CAA. And as I said coming into this, we want to make sure that we're competitive in every single game. In the last couple of weeks, we're in these games had we not turned the football over. And so there's a lot for our guys to learn from going forward. Now on to our next opponent. What they would call the real HU. Really talented players. They can run the football offensively. Quarterbacks, a local kid, very strong arm, talented, tough to bring down. They have 2 really good backs. They do a lot of things defensively to try to get after you. So it'll be a great challenge for our guys. But I know our guys are still focused 1 game at a time and still excited about the prospects of being able to go on the road and compete and win a game. So with that, I'll open the floor for any questions.
Okay, Coach. Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. You pulled Kevin late in the game. Was that injury related or psyche related? I know at that point he had turned it over 3 times. Which one was it?
Yeah, I felt like he was struggling at that point and wanted to get him out of the game, let him simmer a little bit. So it wasn't injury related. We just felt like at that point in the game we needed to bring Eli in to see if he could give us a little bit of a spark.
Coach Colin Avery with Aggie News. You spoke to Hampton's run game. It seems like y'all faced a lot of teams that run the ball really well this season. What do you look for? What do you look for your defense to put up an effort to stop this run game from Hampton?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's all about points. So we don't want teams to come in and run for 500 yards on us, but the bottom line is points. Keeping them off the scoreboard defensively and offensively, finding a way to get 1 more point than they have. So fundamentals of tackling, beating blocks, setting the edge are the key to controlling the run game, but it's always about points. And if you look at what our defense actually allowed last week, 13 points, and then you go back to our game against Delaware, I think our guys have a really good understanding of what we need to do to keep the points down.
Smarsh Marsh from BlueGapBite.com. A couple weeks ago, you said that you felt like you had a potential solution on how to fix the offense, and maybe you say not so long routes downfield. Was yesterday a setback? 37 yards passing, 3 interceptions, and do you still feel like you have some things you can try out to get this offense jump started?
Absolutely, there are things that we can do to improve our passing game. Saturday's setback, part of it being reckless with the football. And then part of it is, we count on players stepping up and making plays when their number is called. And one of the touchdowns, the ball bounced right off the receiver's hands and into the defender's hand. And, it's like, you've got to make that catch. Those are game-changing plays that, it wasn't schematics. It wasn't anything that we didn't design properly offensively. offensively, we put the plan together, and we're counting on the players to be able to make the plays when their numbers are called.
And obviously, nobody wants to have the worst ranked offense in the nation. What is the, I guess, the psyche of the coaching staff right now? And, like I said, I asked you a couple weeks ago, would you consider doing any shakeups? You still feel, you want to keep everything going the way it is right now?
The psyche of the staff is good. We just met, to talk about our challenges. What can we do as a coaching staff to become more creative, to find a way to get the ball into the hands of our best players? And literally, we're tweaking, formations and personnel groupings to take advantage of the skills of our very best players. This is not the NFL where there's a waiver wire where you can go and replace the players. We're coaching the guys that we have on our team as hard and as best as we can, whether they're scholarship players or non-scholarship players, because they're part of our family, and we're counting on those guys to go in and make plays.
Coach, last week Hampton played Delaware. Their whole starting backfield was actually out against them. Do you happen to have any information on the status of those players for Hampton, and how will that impact the game plan for you guys, depending on who's in there, who's not in there?
I don't have any information. We should get there too deep later today or tomorrow. But we're counting on seeing their best players, and we'll prepare to play against their best players.
And I guess, in general, what do you think will be the biggest keys in terms of determining the outcome against Hampton?
Defensively, limiting the points. Offensively, finding a way to score points. Not turning the ball over in the kicking game. If you look at Saturday's game, defensively, we get a stop, okay? They have to punt. Offensively, we march the ball, not get the yardage that we want. We punt and flip the field position. They get ready to punt, and then we muff the punt return, where our offense is literally going to get the ball at midfield. And so all of those things matter. Being able to catch a football on a punt return, it matters. And so we're focused on just finding and fixing the things that we can control.
What is having a player on special teams like Tamon Cook being like for this whole, I guess not even the offense, but the whole program? And do you think people will still kick to him the remainder of the season?
Yeah, it has been awesome having him. At the start of the season, our kickoff return, which we affectionately call Showtime, set a goal of 3 touchdowns on kickoff return. And then last week, look, we're already close to being at 3. Why not strive for 6? And then Tamon goes out and just like I said, he's a phenomenal player, great young man, does things the right way in the classroom and on the field. And he's a legitimate threat every time he touches the ball.
Coach, you got a punt block. That was the second one this year or third?
Second one.
What was the breakdown there? Have you reviewed the film?
Oh, absolutely. A breakdown in the rules of the protection. There's nothing schematically wrong with the way the protection was designed, a breakdown in the execution of the rules of the protection.
They said more than you blocked? Is that
No, that was one of the situations where we know if they're bringing 8, we can pick up 7. And how we pick up the 7 are those that are the most immediate threats. The immediate threats are to the side of the kick and in the middle of the protection.
There was a particular fourth down play, I think around midfield, where you tried kind of throwback pass. I think Kevin drifted right, and the guy was wide open. He kind of overthrew him. Was that the point at which you decided, okay, maybe he needs to take a break?
No, it wasn't at that point. It was a little later in the game where we felt like things just weren't happening the way we wanted them to happen. And Kevin's a true freshman, young guy, and we're asking a lot of him to go in and lead, an offense against one of the better defenses in the CAA.
Speaking of the quarterbacks, you played 3 so far this season. Are you still seeing the continued progress that you're looking for, or have these guys kind of hit a wall and are losing confidence? It seemed at some point where Kevin White and even Brickhammer both just kind of didn't want to just threw the ball up for grabs. Is that something you're seeing also?
Well, I mean, it was, like I said earlier, we don't want to be reckless with the football. It's okay to punt the football and play field position. We never, ever want to just throw the ball up for grabs into the middle of the defense. And so, those are learning opportunities for both players. Look, take the sack. Allow us to punt the football. Don't put the ball in jeopardy like that.
Stephen Gator, HBCU Game Day. Coach, obviously, the focus is one game at a time on the game, but you're talking about building your process, facing a Hampton program, also the CAA pretty new. How big is this game for you guys, recruiting-wise? I'm guessing, border states, similar athletic profiles. You guys are kind of recruiting for the same guys for quite a bit.
It's a big game. Anytime you get a chance to go in and play a former MEAC rival, and one of the top HBCUs in the country. I know Coach Prunty very well. We played against each other in college. They are a developing program, much like we are. It's their homecoming, so we know it's going to be an exciting atmosphere and a chance for our guys to go on the road and play a quality opponent and get a win.
Coach, you touched on the psyche of the team. How's the psyche of the offense in the quarterback room with the challenges that they've had in the last couple of weeks?
I think everyone still has a very positive outlook on what lies ahead. Are we disappointed? Absolutely. But no one's discouraged. And for us, being process-oriented, hey, we'll put that one behind us. We've moved on. What do we need to do to prepare to beat Hampton?
Coach, in your coaching career, have you ever been 7 games in without having a 100-yard passing game?
I have not, but I've been a part of some very challenging situations. My 7th year in the NFL, we were 1-11. 1-11, or my 6th year, 1-11. We went on to win the last 4 to finish 5-11. The next year, we started the season not so great, and then we went on and won the next 6 or 7 games to finish 10-6 and go to the playoffs. So I know some of the challenges that go into building a program, and it doesn't always look the way you want it to look immediately.
Who was your coach then in New England?
Bill Parcells.
1-11.
1-11.
And you played against Prunty when he was at Alabama A&M.
I did.
You were at Valley.
Correct.
Was when you were in New England, was Jay Walker there during the time when you were there too?
Yeah, Jay was a rookie my 5th year in the league.
I know you started off during your statement talking about the tough schedule. You just happened to draw the top 4 teams in the conference. Is there anything about the record in terms of the schedule that you think maybe that deceives people in terms of the actual quality of this football team?
I wouldn't say that. I just say we've played some very good football teams, and we try to stay in the moment. If you look at how we lost the game Saturday, I don't think anybody would have imagined we would have turned the ball over like we did. And had we not turned the ball over, we have a chance to win the football game, because it's always about keeping it close enough to win it at the end. And when you have a lot of young players, new players, really trying to figure out how not to lose games, sometimes you go through these growing pains of learning how to win it at the end.
And in terms of Hampton, offensively and defensively, how would you describe the schemes and formations that they run?
Yeah, so offensively, their spread offense, they have traditionally opened up the splits, big, huge splits between the center and guards, the guards and tackles, and really try to allow the running backs to just pick a hole, cut off the defense on the backside, insert inside. Defensively, they're 3 down front, mostly quarters and man. And they, they'll bring a variety of pressures to get after you.
And talking about him, and their quarterback, he's a local guy here, zealous. He's had some explosive plays, and he's also kind of been turnover prone as well. Just what are your thoughts on him, and how important he is to their offense and shutting it down?
He's a very good player. He came in our game a couple of years ago at William and Mary, and comes in the game. He's hard to tackle. He's got a strong arm. He's big. He's athletic. I think he's accounted for 7 touchdowns this season. So he's a good player.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep, my pleasure.
Now we're going to bring up to the podium our punter, Caleb Brickhouse, out of Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Has boomed some pretty big kicks this year, more than 50 yards several times, averaging 40.8 yards per punt. Caleb Brickhouse. Floor is open for questions.
Caleb, we asked Coach this, but you can answer. What is the, the mindset inside the locker room right now?
It's tough losing, of course. Everyone's been there. We keep our head straight. We look forward to the next game. Same with my punts. If I had a bad punt, the next punt is what I look forward to. Same with the games. If we have a bad game, we look forward to the next game. And, I don't think we're shaking up really. I think we're just ready for the next game and get going and, beat the next team.
Caleb, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. Did you see the guys coming on the block? Did you see, are you able to watch, or you have to be focused on catching the ball?
That's not my focus. I actually been told to keep my head down, look at the ball. For me, we have an operation time, so I have from the snap to the kick, I have 2 seconds to get it off, ideally. So, if I get that off, we should be fine based off the scheme. We had a guy, he made the wrong decision in the game time, and that's what happened. So, if I focus on worrying about who's blocking me or whatever, it might end up in a bad punt, and I'd rather just focus on getting a good punt and flipping the field.
Did in this case you said, did you get it off in 2 seconds?
1.94. So, yeah.
Hey, who keeps that time?
Our coaches look over it, but right after the game, I went home and made sure I clocked it to make sure, I was fast enough.
Okay.
So.
I think kind of tying in, kind of the experience of this football team and maybe that play, right now, what is it that you kind of think back to, or even your teammates think back to, things don't go well, but you want to make sure that you still have trust in your teammates despite, disappointments?
The sole thing of every team is trusting your teammates. If I go out there and don't trust my teammates to block for me, like I said, it's going to end up in a bad punt. Most time, I'm not going to be focused on what I need to do. Same with everything else, like a quarterback focused on their offensive line. I think trust is the biggest deal in football. If you don't trust your teammates, you're not going to have a good game. So, we trust each other and trust that each other is going to make the plays that need to be made.
Caleb, the team's only win this season came on the road, and you played well in your previous road game.
Yes,
Is there anything about maybe having like a little recharge your battery when you leave and go on road trips? Is there something like if you're losing right now, kind of getting away? Is that something that comes into players' minds?
Like key.
As far as like going, like you lost at home, now you get a chance to go on the road to like a new environment. Does that play into maybe chance to do a little better?
Yeah. So for me, I'd prefer to play away. I think it's better to beat someone at their own stadium. So hopefully our teammates feel the same way. But I think just the road trip gives us time to think about what we're getting into and what we can do. If we're playing at home, sometimes we don't have time to sit there and think about the plays we need to make and what we need to accomplish. So that road trip, the hotel, I feel like we have time to sit there and really think about what needs to be done during that game. So I think away games help me at least.
Hey Caleb, what's your best punt of the year?
Best punt of the year, it was 57 maybe.
You remember what game it was?
I honestly can't remember. I have a mindset of I try to not even think about the past games. I don't even like looking at my own stats. So whatever game's coming up, I like to look forward to that and doing better. I'll look at my stats at the end of the year.
You mean you don't know what you're averaging right now?
I've heard my dad. my dad tells me after every game, but I don't really ask for it. But
Like I sat in the stands, I think at E-line
Yes,
with
sir.
your probably your mom and your dad.
Yes, sir.
How important have they been? Was he a punter himself?
No, he was a soccer player. I learned how to play soccer based off of him. He was my coach growing up, so me and my dad are definitely close, football related. He takes videos of every punt, so if I ever need a video of that, be like, what happened here? Oh, I know what happened. Here's a video. Let me show you. So he's been a really big deal. My mom is always support. Had 5 family members there this week to support me, so that was really great.
So when did you start punting? You grew up playing soccer. When did you start punting?
So my freshman year, I was a soccer player. I had a coach. I played against him at Norfolk State. He was their special teams coach, and he picked me from the soccer team to play football. And my first ever game in high school, I hit a game winner, 39 yards field goal to win the game. And ever since then, I was drawn to football. And my dad was sad to see me leave soccer. I left soccer around my junior year, but I really wanted to focus on football, and this is where I'm at now.
So you're hitting 39-yard field goals, Coach Brown. Does that mean he's your backup place kicker?
Absolutely.
I can do it.
You can do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but also understand you do a lot of off-the-field stuff. Can you talk a
Yes,
little
sir.
bit about some of your community service initiatives?
Yeah, so last year I had an initiative called Punting for a Purpose. It was where people made a pledge based off of what stats I would get for the year. I was recently hit up by a NFL punter, Bradley Pinion, and he was like, hey, I'm trying to start an initiative. It's called Punts for Purpose. And I was like, man, that's kind of my name, So he decided that we could share the name, copyright, and I made a decision to just go with his initiative. So this year, I'm pledging to donate $10 for every punt inside the 20. So this would go towards the Punts for a Purpose, and all that's in my bio on Twitter if anyone wants to check that out. But I'd like to ask y'all to join that if you want as well. But that helps me do better on the field too. So, sir.
After that great question, I don't really know how to follow up, but you're from Elizabeth City, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you have some family that'll be in the area, maybe checking you out there as well on the road?
So I'm from quite a bit of places. My dad's a pastor, so we move around a little bit. But I have family kind of mostly in South Carolina, but a little bit in North Carolina. But I definitely have some teammates on the team now from Elizabeth City. Not too much family in Elizabeth City though.
Will they be joining you on the road, the folks that are close?
I do have some friends and family that wanted to go. Hopefully I can get them out there, but yeah, it'll be close enough for them to go for sure.
Thank you, appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Now we're going to bring up our defensive lineman, Henry Daniel. Outstanding and stopping the run, Mr. Henry Daniel.
Hello, everyone.
I got the mic, I'll start. Henry, we talked about Hampton has a really, really good running game. They're running back, but also a quarterback as well. Just what have you seen about them on film? As it relates to just stopping the run and just kind of all the options that they have.
As Coach Brown said earlier, they have wide splits, and that may be something that we can use to our advantage with our factor being like speed. Really, they have big guys up front, they have good running backs, good quarterbacks. So, you have to stop the run.
You know, I'll ask, did they recruit you in Hampton? Like, what some of the schools that were looking at you? before you chose
Hampton did not recruit me, but there were some other schools like Campbell and North Carolina Central, Western Carolina, Furman, and some of the other schools. Richmond actually too.
Henry, Caleb talked about going on the road and playing in road environments. Is this a kind of a mindset for you guys when you go on those road trips that it's us against the world?
Yes, sir, it is. And I actually really agree with what he said. When you have those trips on the bus and also the time in the hotel, it gives you a lot of time to just solely think about your opponent and the task at hand. So, and it is when you're on the road in someone else's stadium, it's just, you know, you're ready for a fight going in their house. So.
Does it give you any extra motivation knowing that it's their homecoming and, you know, this is a rivalry that goes way back?
Yes, sir, it does. I mean, well, really, we're not thinking too much about that. You know, there's a lot of like things outside the team, it being their homecoming, but you know, it's gonna make the game more intense. So definitely something to be prepared for.
This year, I'd have to check out the updated numbers, but I know before, A&T was ranked 13th in the nation in pass defense. Another great performance this week. In your eyes, what have been the biggest keys in terms of having a strong pass defense this year?
I think the strongest keys for having a good pass defense is everybody just knowing their assignment. I mean, we have really good defensive backs, really good linebackers that can run and cover. So everybody does their assignment on the back end. Then I mean, we'll be good. But also up front, rushing the passer. It's something that's really important on top of covering rushing the passer. It's important for stopping the pass.
Is there anything that you guys do from a defensive line standpoint that, you know, has either created pressure or, you know, forced quarterbacks into making decisions, whether it be, you know, unique stunts that you guys run or even just, you know, good pass rushing technique?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in pass rushing situations, we have stunts that we run that create pressure, but also just rushing the passer. And after laying some hits on the quarterback, it's a mental thing. So hopefully he's thinking rush throws more. So just trying to rattle the quarterback really.
Hi, Henry. On the defense, who would you say you would identify as the leader of your defense?
I would definitely say that BJ is a leader of our defense. That guy's really smart and he's just a really good person. So BJ, definitely.
What about amongst the defensive linemen where you play?
I would say me and J-Rob really. This year we stepped J-Rob, Janoris Robinson, number 7. Sorry. I'd say we are the leaders of our defensive line. Just keeping a positive mindset, something that we bring to the.
And your classification is?
I'm a junior.
You're junior. Do you have seniors on the defensive line?
Sorry, I'm trying to have to think. We actually don't have seniors. Janoris, he's graduated, but I think he has another year. But yes, sir.
So when you look at 1 and 6, how do you think the defense has performed, and particularly your spot, the defensive lineman? How do you think you guys have performed?
Well, really, we haven't stopped the run as well as we need to. That's one of the biggest things. Like since I've been here, is just stopping the run. If you stop the run, then you have increase your chances greatly of winning. But like against Richmond, I think it was one of our better games stopping the run. We did much better staying on our gaps and fitting, holding our gaps. So.
Now, Hampton, have you watched film on Hampton yet?
I've seen some, not a whole lot, really.
You know, they got 2 dynamic running backs, Burris and Butts, and neither one of them played this Saturday, and a third string guy that came in and rushed for 100 yards. So you said you haven't seen Burris or Butts?
I've more looked at the offensive line and how their alignment is in terms of their splits being larger than what we've been used to.
So how do you plan on attacking them? If their splits are wider, what does that mean you have to do?
Well, it'll really give us a better chance to get some penetration against them, and maybe if we're running some type of stunts, it could play in our favor. But I mean, it's really the same for us, just being physical at the line of scrimmage and doing our jobs. Really, the most important thing.
So who's your defensive line coach?
Kennard Lang, Coach Lang.
And what are the kind of things that he's taught you is what differently than what you've done in your previous years?
Well, with me being, I'm going from mainly defensive end, like, to 3 technique more. So something I've had to learn is
Three techniques, explain that to us.
the 3 technique is the outside shoulder of the guard. So I went from the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle to the outside shoulder of the guard. So it's more interior defensive line versus playing on the outside. But for that, you have to, something I've had to learn is shortening up my stance in my first steps. That's something really important, because if you don't do that, then it gives offensive linemen a better chance of getting up right on you quicker. So you want to be able to get up on the offensive lineman quicker. So that's something that I've talked with Coach Lang about. And really just the defense is a lot different than what we played before. So there's been a whole lot of things that have changed with the new coaching staff.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Henry. Appreciate it, man. Great job.
Thank you.
Kickoff is at 2 o'clock on Saturday. You can check us out on the Aggie Sports Network, 103.5 FM, 1400 AM The Light, and also on XM Radio, channel 385. You can also check out some good food back here for lunch. And while you guys get in line, we'll go ahead and start our radio show with Coach Brown and Donald Ware. Thank you.